Hey everyone, thanks for learning to play games. My name is Lance, and today I'm looking at a brand new game on Kickstarter called Freedom 5. This is a new one from Arcane Wonders. It is a 1 to 5 player game that takes roughly 1 to 2 hours to play. It is a fully cooperative game where all the players are working together to defeat the game itself. This one is also set in the Sentinels of the Multi-Universe, and the players are going to be playing in the city of Megalopolis, where they are going to be part of a team, the Freedom 5, that is tasked with keeping the city safe, and boy do they have their work cut out for them. There's always a mastermind around the corner coming up with some new scheme to bring the city to its knees and to take control of it. On top of that, they've employed all kinds of villains and henchmen to aid them in this and just bring anarchy and chaos to the city all the time. So the heroes are going to be working around the clock trying to balance their personal lives with their hero lives and trying to maintain the city, keeping control of the henchmen that are in there, keeping the anarchy to a minimum, and trying to thwart the mastermind at his game any way they can. So in the game, you are going to be playing one of the heroes of the Freedom 5, tasked with doing this, and you will have your own deck of cards that you're going to be playing, doing all kinds of things, working as a team. And this is the biggest thing with this game, is that you really do have to work as a team and coordinate with each other, trying to team up to take down the villains and team up to take down the mastermind, and splitting up to handle all the little henchmen and our anarchy and all those different tokens on the board. So it is going to be a lot of teamwork and cooperation, but you are also going to be standing on your own 2 feet, trying to help your team in any way you can. So in this video, I'll be going over the main features of the game and talking about each one of the heroes that are part of the Freedom 5 so that you can make a proper decision once you get the game which hero you want to play. I'm also going to cover the villains and the mastermind and a little bit of gameplay showing you how a sample turn works. I also have a link up in the top corner if you'd like to see a playthrough of the game. I have that as well. And as always, if you find these videos helpful, if you like what I do, please consider that like button, subscribe to my channel. It's one of the easiest ways you can support channels like mine so we can continue to grow and produce this content. If you want to stay updated on all my videos, also consider hitting that bell so your notifications anytime I release new content. So let's head to the table and we'll take a look at how this one plays. The first thing I want to look at are the heroes that are included in the core game, as one of the most important decisions you're going to make is which hero you want to play. So each hero is going to have their own dashboard, and each hero will have 4 different stats for mind, body, spirit, and tech. Each of these stats is going to have a number, which is the minimum number that hero must roll on each die that they roll for that test in order to have a success. Each hero is also going to have a personal side for their card with a special ability at the bottom of the card, and a hero side with a special ability on the card. The heroes are going to have 5 actions that they'll be able to play during their turn, and these actions will be listed on the side of their board with one side or the other based on if they're a hero or if they're in their personal life, with some actions being able to be performed whether they're in their hero or personal side. Each hero is also going to have their own deck of cards that is going to be broken down into their 4 main colors. Each of these sets will have the primary card with 1 die on it and 1 card with 2 dice on it, and this will be a little bit more of a powerful card as well. And you'll also use these when fighting villains, and based on the number of cards you discard will be the number of dice you throw against that villain. Each of these cards is going to be tailored to that hero, and each hero is going to have a theme, with Legacy mainly focusing on support and helping other heroes, such as bolstering allies or inspiring presence, where he will allow players to reroll, and Surge of Strength will allow him to modify his dice by adding additional values to each die that he rolls. He'll also have Flight, which will let him move around very easily. The next character I'm going to look at is Bunker, and he is going to be excellent for both defense and offense. With his personal ability, it allows him to choose a hero, to draw 3 ability cards, and choose a color out of those ability cards to keep all of that color, and then he can move to any location of that color if he wants to. And then on his hero side, he will be able to negate 1 point of damage anytime he takes damage, and he's going to deal 1 point of damage to his attacker, so he's going to be very useful for that. Onto his ability cards, he has a number of different ability cards that are going to allow him to handle both anarchy and mastermind tokens, as well as being able to deal damage to henchmen. He's also very good as a damage dealer, as he has the redirect power card, which will allow him to count 2 successes for every 6 that he rolls, as well as the Omniblast that can deal damage, eliminating all henchmen at his current location and 2 henchmen at each adjacent location, as well as being able to do damage to a villain that is at his current location. So again, Bunker is going to be excellent for both defense and being able to dish out a lot of punishments. The third character is Tachyon, and she is super fast. With her first ability, she is able to eliminate an anarchy token at her location if she rolls an even, and on her hero side, she can reroll all dice each time she rolls them. So she is going to be really good at handling anarchy and mastermind tokens, and even in combat where she'll be able to reroll if she has a bad roll. On top of that, she is super fast. She's going to be able to move around extremely quickly, being able to play cards outside of her turn to move around. So she's going to be great for team-ups against villains in that, as well as being able to handle the henchmen that are out there by moving around to different locations and bouncing back and forth. And then she even has cards such as the hub goggles that will allow her to take a card back into her hand when it is in her discard pile. So she'll have access to cards that are really powerful quite often. The fourth hero to join Freedom 5 is Wraith, and she is going to be really handy when going up against villains and teaming up with heroes. So first off, her personal ability allows her to move one or more heroes one time during her turn from one location to another. So she'll be able to help the heroes move around, and then on her hero side, she will not take damage into her turn if she ends in a space with henchmen. So she is not going to be as concerned on ending in spaces with henchmen as they're not going to do any damage. Moving over to her ability cards, like I said, she is really good at helping with villains, as she has this combat prowess cards, which you can discard to play when you or a hero on your location is attacking a villain to cancel their defense or their counter strike, and that's limited once per attack. So that's really big, especially handling villains like Fright Train, where he is going to decrease each one of your die by one value, making it a lot harder to hit him. So that would be huge against him, or even being able to cancel out the defense or other effects from other villains. That is a super powerful card for handling them. So she is going to be a must-have if you're going against nasty villains and you really need some support. She's a great character for that, as well as being able to handle henchmen and doing other things and rescuing bystanders for free, even if there's henchmen in those spaces. The final character to join the Freedom 5 is Absolute Zero, and he is going to be an excellent support character to really help you handle the henchmen and keep them at bay. So with his abilities, his first one allows him to choose a color, and all heroes at locations of that color get to draw an ability card. And on his hero side, after defeating henchmen, he can choose to place his frozen token on them, and the next time that they would be placed out, then they are going to cancel that, and the frozen token would be removed. Over to his ability cards, he has a number of ability cards that are going to allow him to handle and remove henchmen, whether it's just one at his location, or all henchmen at that location, or even henchmen at multiple locations. He also has the ice surfing that's going to allow him to move around very fast, as he can move 4 spaces with that. And he has the ice shield, which is going to make him really handy as a defensive character to help your other heroes, as that will allow him to negate 2 points of damage when using that. Moving over to the enemies now, there are going to be 3 different classes of enemies you're going to be facing throughout the game. The first are henchmen. They are the lowest level, and they don't have any special cards or anything, and they're going to be at different locations, causing all kinds of little problems that the players are going to have to deal with. From there, then you're going to have villains, and villains are a lot more powerful. They will have a number of hit points, and each one is going to have some of them will have special abilities, as well as all kinds of other effects when attacking them that you're going to have to resolve and handle. Villains are also going to drop anarchy tokens throughout the game that the players are going to have to deal with, and when a player deals with it, they'll draw a card matching the color of the anarchy token that they're dealing with, and then they'll have to make a test, and based on the number of successes, or if they fail, they'll have to resolve the effects of those as well. And the final type of enemy, the Architect of Evil, the main protagonist in the scenario you're playing is going to be the Mastermind. And this character is going to have his own card with stats and effects that the player is going to have to deal with, as well as his Mastermind tokens. And based on when you encounter those throughout the scenario, as you can see here on this card, you're going to resolve the effects of those, and each one is going to have a number on the bottom or the backside of that token. The mastermind is also going to have other effects throughout the game and will cause all kinds of problems for our heroes. The final thing I want to go over and show you is a sample round, and I also want to explain a couple of other things with this. So first off, each scenario you play is going to have its own comic book, which is going to outline all the initial introduction and backstory to the game, as well as special instructions for that particular setup. And then it will be broken down into chapters that are going to outline what happens during the villain phase, and I'll explain that more in a minute, as well as for the mastermind tokens when you're dealing with those and what thresholds there are to continue on to the next chapter. For example, with this one, if I defeat 2 villains or the mastermind track reaches 5, then I will advance to the next chapter, moving on, and things are going to ramp up from there. There's also going to be, in some of the scenarios, side quests that if you're able to meet, then you're going to receive special bonuses for those. And this game, again, can be played as a campaign or as single missions, depending upon what you're looking for. But the campaign will add additional flavor to it, as you're going to be able to upgrade and improve your heroes, as well as have other effects that are going to come into play. From there, I want to get into the game itself, and so each player's turn is going to be broken down into a number of steps that the player is going to resolve. Each player has 5 action tokens that they will have they can spend throughout their turn, as well as ability cards that they can activate. Some ability cards will be free, others you'll have to spend tokens for. And throughout the game, the players are going to try to mitigate all kinds of different chaos that's going to be going on the board, including defeating henchmen, being able to handle anarchy tokens, dealing with mastermind tokens, and then obviously defeating the villains and mastermind that are out there. And this is all going to be happening all the time. So players are going to have to balance how they approach each one of these, because if they forego one aspect of this, the game can end quickly in defeat, as each one of these aspects must be dealt with. So from there, let me show you a sample turn in action. So we're going to go ahead and start with Legacy, as he is always the first hero to go if he is being played. And so during his turn, the first thing each time you start, you're going to start in your personal side, and you can resolve the effects of the personal ability, as well as dealing with other actions that are done only in the personal side. So first off, with that, he can once per turn look at the top scheme card, and he can choose to discard it or keep it. So the scheme card is going to be played during the villain turn, and it's going to have new henchmen coming out, as well as potentially introducing new bystanders or mastermind tokens. And then there's also going to be an event at the bottom that the players are going to have to deal with. So with this one, I'm going to go ahead and just keep it as it is. Otherwise, I could have chosen to discard it as his ability. From there, then I can choose other things. For example, he can heal when he's on his personal side. I haven't taken any damage yet, so I don't want to do that. And I don't have a personal task out that I have to deal with either. But I do want to do some training, so I'm going to go ahead and spend 1 action. As I am at the Freedom Tower, I can do a train action, which will allow me to draw 3 additional ability cards. And that's going to be important for being able to do different actions in that. So I'm going to go ahead and lay these out so you guys can see what we have here. So from there, then I am going to go ahead and do an attack action to try to handle some of these henchmen here. So in order to do that, I'm going to roll a number of dice, 1 per henchman that is being used, or one that's out there. So I'll roll 3. And then I'm also going to get to roll my legacy die, as that is his ability. And I am also going to switch over to my hero side for that. So from there, then I'm going to consult my stats, and my spirit is 4. So I need to roll at least a 4 or better to destroy each one of those henchmen. And I rolled 2 successes, so that'll defeat 2 of them, adding them back to the supply, unless I had a card or effect that would benefit from that. From there, then I can do that again, or I can do something else. So I think with my guy, I'm going to go ahead and move. Or actually, let's go ahead and show off a flying smash. So this one says that I can play as an action, which I spent an action to do that, and I can move to any location and deal 1 damage to all henchmen, villains, masterminds, and other heroes on there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'm going to move up here to the Baron. And so with that, I deal 1 damage to all henchmen, so those will all be defeated. I'm also going to deal 1 damage to all masterminds and villains at the location, and any other heroes at that location would also take damage, and then I have to add an anarchy token to that location. So then this will be discarded to my discard pile, and I have 2 actions remaining, so I'm going to go ahead and spend 1 of those to handle that anarchy token. So in order to do that, I will go through the anarchy deck and find the top red one. So there's that. And then I will read it. And so this one is a new street drug that grants temporary powers as creating chaos throughout the city. I can choose to either roll 5 dice for strength or mind, and then based on my successes, we'll see what happens. So I always get to roll my die, and my strength or my body stat is my best one, so I'm going to go ahead and roll for that. We'll see how many successes I get. Wow, so I got 6, so I can go with this one. So you destroy the chemical factory, remove this anarchy token, and then roll a die. Remove that many red henchmen from any location on the city. So we'll go ahead and roll our legacy die. And 6. Wow. So I'm going to go ahead and do 2 from here, 1 from there, 1 from there, and then let's do these 2 as well. So that was really handy for that. And then this will be discarded. And I have 1 action remaining, so I have a mastermind token there. So let's go ahead and take a look at how that works. So then I'll flip over the mastermind token. It's number 4. So again, I'll go back to my comic and check that for chapter 1. Number 4 is strange radiation is sapping your strength. I have to make either a spirit or a tech test, and I'm going to roll 4 dice. So I'm going to go after spirit as my tech is my worst stat. So I'll do that. And my legacy die is up here. So let's go ahead and give that a roll and see what I get. And I need 4s or better. So I got 2 successes on that. So if I got 2, I suffer 1 damage and discard 2 ability cards if able, and then I discard this token. So this will be returned to the supply. I have to discard 2, so I'll discard these 2. And I would also take a damage, and damage works a little bit differently with this. You're going to draw a damage token, and these are going to have a variety of effects, including not being able to use certain cards. Like this one will not let me use any yellow cards until I heal this. And then if a hero has 5 tokens, 5 damage tokens, then they are disabled, and the mastermind track will move up 2 spaces, and then they're going to be back in the next turn. So nobody's ever eliminated, but it's very bad if you go down, so you want to try not to do that. Okay, so from here, then it is he has spent all his actions and he doesn't have any other cards or anything that he wants to play. So then it would move into the end part of the turn where he's going to draw 2 cards and add them to his hand. He would take 1 damage for each henchman that is in his current location, which there aren't any, and then he's going to draw and resolve the scheme card. So with this one, I would add 2 yellow villains to location 3. I add 1 green to location 9, and I'm going to add 1 blue to location 27, and then if there are 3 henchmen there, I also am going to move the villain to that location. Anytime our villains move, they are going to place an anarchy token down. And then finally, I have scheming. If less than 3 mastermind tokens are active, I add 1 mastermind token to the location of the active villain or mastermind. And there's only 2 out right now, so these will get mixed up so that we don't put out the exact same one again. And then that'll be placed out as well. From there, then this will be discarded. And then at that point, then it'll move on to the next hero to take their turn. And this is going to continue until either the players are able to defeat the mastermind, or if the track reaches the end of the track, the players will lose, or if any other scenario conditions come up that cause a loss. Well, I hope you found that video helpful. If you have any questions or comments, leave those in the comments section below and I'll do my best to answer them, or swing by the Kickstarter's main page and drop any questions you have there as well. I'm sure the creators would love to hear from you and are more than happy to answer any questions you have. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch my videos and leave me feedback on them. I do appreciate it, and I take into account everything you say to make the best possible videos. Until next time, I'll see you later.